Hi everybody, it's Sunday, April 27th, 2008. Thanks for stopping by. I'd like to speak a little bit about what's going on with the Ron Paul revolution. First of all, it looks like the Ron Paul supporters are taking over the Republican conventions in several states. I've heard rumors about certain local conventions being completely taken over by Ron Paul supporters here in Mississippi, and looks like the state convention in Nevada has more Ron Paul supporters than McCain supporters, but the entrenched establishment is doing everything they can to shut us down and to continue their hegemony on the party, through disregarding their own rules, through intimidation, through shutting down the convention when it looks like they've lost control. So anyway, keep an eye on that. Looks like the Ron Paul revolution is, maybe not successful in the election, but it is successful in changing the Republican Party. Those guys that are in control of things now are not going to be in control for very long. I have a strong feeling about that. So everybody keep working, keep pushing the revolution. We will win sooner or later. And the other thing I want to talk about today is a new book that I've just read. Just got finished with it tonight. It is called A History of Modern Palestine by Ilan Pappe. Ilan Pappe is an Israeli Jew who was born in Israel and was a professor at the University of Haifa, I believe, for a long time. And he wrote this book sort of as a apolitical, nationalistic history of Palestine from the beginning of modernization, which I believe was 1799, when the Europeans first showed up and started the process of modernizing the entire area. He stated that he was teaching a history of Palestine at Haifa University, and he had Jewish and Palestinian students. Now there are Palestinian citizens of Israel. They don't have very many rights. They're pretty much second-class citizens, and they're confined to the lower rungs of society. But there are Palestinian citizens. There's also what they call Mizrachi Jews, who are Jews from Arab countries. And they're also discriminated against in Jewish society, although not as much as Palestinians. And then you have the Ashkenazi Jews, or Ashkenazi Jews, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but these are the European Jews, and they are the upper class, so to speak. They're the ones who benefit from most of the economic prosperity in Israel. So, to get back to the story, he's teaching a class with Jewish and Palestinian students, and the students begin to ask him for a history of Israel that is not influenced by the Jewish narrative or the Palestinian narrative, because there's two different histories. One of them is for the Zionist movement. One of them is for the Palestinians who've been displaced by the Zionist movement. And they both have very political overtones. They're both, tied to ideology. And his students were asking for a history that was not tied to ideology, that was strictly concerned with facts. And so he wrote this book, The History of Modern Palestine. And it's just amazing. It's a wonderful book. I recommend it to anyone who wants to know the truth about Israel and Palestine. And I think if you're concerned at all with, politics or terrorism, the time we live in now, with the war on terror, I think you really need to read this book to understand what we're fighting for and what we're fighting against and the reasons why we're all fighting. This book has the answers to all those questions. And it's answers that you won't find very many other places. Like I've said before, this whole situation with Israel and Palestine has always been a very big mystery to me. Even though I was very curious about it, I never really got many answers that made sense and explained the whole thing to me. Well, this book did. Now I understand. Now it all makes sense. I won't say it's simple, but it all makes sense, and it's very straightforward, and it's very terrifying if you want to know the truth. Just to think about it, I mean, the thoughts that I keep having while I read this, that I kept having while I was reading the book, it's just man's inhumanity to man. I mean, it's staggering. It's hard to believe that people can do these things to each other, but they do. So this book is not an easy read because it's extremely dense with information. It goes into a lot of detail about what happened, I guess, from around the 1820s up into the present day. And I wouldn't say it's perfect. It did leave a few areas unexplored that I would have liked to have read about. But it was very detailed and provided so much information that you just can't get anywhere else. And it really put everything into perspective, and it was very sympathetic to the Palestinian plight, the Palestinian condition, but it was also sympathetic to the Jewish condition and the Jewish people and their own concerns and their own problems. But like I said, it's not. This is not a justification of anything. It's just a straightforward history, of that area and what happened politically and economically, and it's very damning. Even though he is sympathetic to the Jewish problem, he does not at all try to justify the Zionist movement. There's a section of the book that talks about the post-Zionist movement in the 1990s in Israel, which ended with the Second Intifada, where the post-Zionist scholars came out and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, that all that stuff I wrote about in the 90s was just garbage. I hate the Palestinians, and I hate the Palestinians living in Israel, and I hate the Palestinians in the occupied territories, and we've got to kill them all, and blah blah blah." Back to the official party line. But before the Second Intifada, in the 1990s, there was a very questioning attitude toward the Zionist ideology and the general history, and there was a very sympathetic attitude towards the Palestinians, and I would say that this book is in that category. So anyway, check it out. I think you'll find it very interesting, and thanks for watching.